Luapula province, which is strategically important to Zambia due to the rich natural resources, including hydroelectric potential, minerals like manganese, copper and gold, and fertile land for agriculture. Its location along the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo makes it crucial a trade hub with opportunities for cross-border commerce and economic growth. Like I mentioned, we are in Luapula province today, and my guest on today's program, I do have Honorable Engineer Nason Musonda. He is the Minister of Luapula province and Member of Parliament for Kawambwa constituency. Before I introduce him, I should also make mention that my sign language interpreter this morning is Chola Kauma, and you, our viewers and our listeners, wherever you are, make sure that you utilize the SMS facility for today, 0978772801. Now the big question is, how much has Luapula province received? And how is the minister receiving many incentives that the Minister of Finance announced in his 2026 national budget? Honorable, thank you so much for waking up early. You are a busy minister, trekking Lusaka and Luapula province. How is the province doing?
Thank you very much. I appreciate to appear on this program this morning. And I want to mention that Luapula is doing fantastic. Luapula is awakening. I think that it was a forgotten province over the past years. But under this administration, we've seen a number of activities that are coming on board, and principally in terms of infrastructure and many other things. So we are a very alive province, to say. And we look forward that even this 2026 budget that was presented recently is going to actually catalyze much more development to the benefit of our people in Luapula province.
Okay.
Yes.
The Minister of Finance announced that he intends to spend 253.1 billion kwacha come next year in 2026. How did the province receive the 2026 projection?
I think it came as an exciting news. Principally on two fronts. Luapula province alone will benefit significantly through 2026 budget in terms of road infrastructure. You remember that this is a province that has not well-connected districts because of poor road networks, and but we are also excited that because we are a predominant rural province, we have been grappling with so many social aspects of life in the rural areas, and the enhanced CDF has been enhanced further to 40 million. So this has excited our people, because I can tell you that the enhanced CDF has been doing wonders in our province, and therefore its increment under the 2026 budget brings more relief, because we expect that now we can double our efforts in terms of making sure that we alleviate poverty. We are called the least developed province, but I think under this government, that's the more reason I'm saying this, we are an awakening province, and therefore the 2026 budget brings hope to the people of Luapula province, because we will see much more economic activities, even at household level, because we have enhanced our agriculture. The spending in agriculture is good, education, health, and then the road infrastructure, including now the enhanced CDFs. So it is a good budget for the people of Luapula province, and it remains imperative upon all of us from the people of Luapula province to work collectively to ensure that we take advantage of the good policies under this administration to actually benefit from these resource allocations that are coming from government. So we are a very happy province. We are happy about this budget. If you speak, you go around each district, they are expectant. And I can go into details, because when you look at the 2026 budget, it is the only budget in our last 4 years, of course coming in the 5th year, that the Pedico road has now been budgeted for. The people of Luapula province, if you talk about Luapula province, let me just put it this way, you cannot talk about Luapula province without Pedico road, without Tuta road, because these are gateways to the rest of the country that have remained deplorable for over a long period of time. A successive government neglected to do those roads. They were funded, but the money were pocketed. But we are happy that this government again has thought of Luapula by making sure that Pedico Road is funded. It's not just Pedico Road. is Pedico plus the Chembe Mansa Road.
Okay.
So that's huge. But just last week, I was coming from Luapula province. We were launching massive road infrastructure in the province. The popular Kashikishi Runchinda. That has been on cards by successful governments. People have been cheated. This time around, last week, we are doing groundbreaking ceremony. And we expect that this road will now be actualized to the benefit of our people, because this is another gateway to Congo.
Okay.
When we talk about Kashikishi Runchinda, at the end of Chienge, you are literally crossing into the mineral-rich Katanga.
I know in the minister's address, he did talk about 880 feeder roads that are supposed to be upgraded into gravel road, and I'm sure your province is one of the beneficiaries, being a rural constituency. But before we get to those details, you've appeared before these parliamentary committees that have been sitting, analyzing the 2026 national budget. Not too long ago, you were presenting a policy statement before the Local Government Accounts Committee. And what are some of the issues that came out, and how was your experience? I know this is the first time that provincial ministers are presenting policy statements.
Yeah, the policy statement was presented to the committee. I think I did it last week on Wednesday. And the committee, the honorable members sitting on the committee, are very happy with the path that the developmental trajectory that Luapula is now seeing, which is on the horizon due to the good policies of this government. In that policy statement, we've given out what will go towards our administration as a province, but much more also to give an oversight over different projects that will be implemented across the province, because we are the implementing province, so we have to be on the ground to ensure that we actually see that these projects are implemented timely within the budgeted cost and within the acceptable quality. So we have a budget for the provincial administration that caters also even for the monuments for the public service workers within the province, but much more also to social sectors such as water, health, and also social protection, as it were. So it is a well thought through budget, and we believe that even if it is an election year next year, before we are dissolved, we'll make sure that we do the level best for our people, to ensure that what is in this budget translates into the benefits that the people would like to see through the budget that has been provided by this government. You know, successful government, I'll talk about the MMD, I'll talk about the PF. They never looked at some of the important economic roads. I think that roads in Luapula were only done during Kaunda, the UNIP, and then went to sleep. And so the infrastructure, road infrastructure, has deteriorated over time, such that some roads are not even passable. Some of them, I would say, they have even closed. If you talk about Mansa, Chipiri, Kawambwa, Nchelenge, which was called in the olden days as the Mansa Direct. All these roads, today you can't pass there because they have been neglected over time. But this government has come to open those roads. So we are going to ensure that we monitor all these developmental programs. But let me just go to the issue of the feeder roads. What we are doing as a province, under the enhanced CDF, in the year 2022, President Hakainde Hichilema gave an instruction to all local authorities, their representatives, to work out mechanisms of making sure that we procure the yellow machines, earth-moving equipment, so that we can, at local level, deal with feeder roads. And so in Kawambwa, as I speak to you, we are doing just that. We are opening up. This morning I was speaking to my people from the part side. They are going to see another groundbreaking ceremony for a feeder road. Yeah. This is in an area where they have never seen a yellow machine. They have never seen a grader, in short. We call it Mazembe. They have never seen that. But we are doing that. So the 808 kilometer that has been articulated in the budget, we expect that Luapula province has the biggest share, because we're a rural province.
So from the 808 kilometers that the Minister of Finance announced, which one would you really feel comfortable? And how much should be your share as Lopla province, looking at the picture that you've given us?
Just like I've indicated, Lopla province is typically rural. And for feeder roads, we are not just opening up roads for the sake of opening it up. When we open up a road, we're looking at the economic benefits that that road will bring to the local economy within the province. This country has 10 provinces, and Lopra itself, which has been rated as the poorest, I've always said it's not poor. I think that it has not just been well managed, because we're endowed with different resources, God-given, but we have failed to harness them to translate into the economic benefit of our people. Therefore, for the road network, there are farming blocks, because these are center of agriculture production. And once we open up these roads, it means we're going to first transport the inputs on time, and vice versa. When we harvest, the produce will reach the market. So in terms of the cost of doing business, the cost of doing business will come down. So we have what we call the Luena farming block in Kawambo. This one, of course, we've already almost, I can say we are over 70% in terms of opening it up for the feeder roads, including electrification. So we have to make sure that the Luena farming block is completely opened up. We also have the Milenge resettlement in Milenge district. We also have to make sure that that area, because it has potential for agriculture, and we're doing it at a very small scale, but due to accessibility, our feeder roads, including the main road that takes you to Milenge, they are very bad roads. So we are going to make sure that under this budget, we'll prioritize those roads so that we can ease the burden of traveling time, because people spend days and nights sometimes to reach the markets, especially during the rain season. So those will be a priority. Not only those, we also have Chipiri. Chipiri is a typical rural district with a lot of mineral potential. We have to open it up. Mansa, we have certain areas we call Matanda. We are working on them. Kalaba, we are working on them. Chisunka, we are working on them. These are typical rural settlements, but with potential to produce and feed the nation, and feed the province before we feed the nation. So we have to make sure that all these roads are opened up. My calculation, and this is what I've been pushing as a provincial minister, that can we have a quarter of this allocation so that we can open up Lopra province. But this is from central government. We are also now using the enhanced CDF, because we have the Hero machine, to do much more. The picture has already changed. If you come to Lopla today, the picture, come to my constituency. When I say my constituency, I also have a colleague, Pambash, Justin. As we are speaking now, we are opening up Chibote, Chama, Mawaya. Those are areas they never saw graders. But Mawaya, as a village, is the highest producer of maize in Kawambo. But there was no road, and people used to suffer taking the inputs there, and the vice versa, bring the produce to the satellite depots. So now we are opening up all those, and Lopla will never be the same in terms of this funding that we've received. The feeder roads will be done, including bridges, because Lopla province, and particularly Kawambo, every 2 to 5 kilometers there is a stream. You need to put culverts, you need to do a bridge. So this funding has come at the right time, but we have not been sleeping. We've been doing so much in the last 4 years, including the funding that came through the World Bank. It has the rural connectivity. I think literally each and every road district received a fair share of that in terms of opening up our feeder roads.
Shortly, text messages on 0978 772801, wherever you are. If you are following us on our social media as well, I'm saying thank you so much. Let us know where you're watching us from. If you have any question or contribution, today we are interacting with Honorable Engineer Nelson Musonda, Member of Parliament for Kawamba constituency, and he is the Minister of Lopla Province, and we just want to find out how Lopla Province will benefit from the 253.1 billion kwacha the Minister Minister of Finance intend to spend in 2026. So the number is 0978772801. And let me also just acknowledge the people that are with us on our social media as we look at the 2026 post-budget analysis. And in this part, we are looking at Luapula Province. Raja Zufaki, you're saying you're with us, and also not forgetting that's Gladys Mulela Annie from Obama right here in Lusaka City. If you're with us on our social media, feel free to get in touch with us on that particular platform. The number is 0978772801. I know, Honorable, you've talked about how you intend to benefit from the 808 feeder road that the Minister of Finance announced in his 2026 national budget. But let's move on and look at the energy sector. I know you are passionate about issues to do with energy, and your province has got great potential to also contribute to the national grid in terms of electricity. Now, given the budget allocation for the energy sector, what specific projects or initiatives will be prioritized in Luapula Province to improve energy infrastructure and increase access to electricity?
That's another important question, but I think just before I get to the energy sector, on the road aspect, I've given you what we like going to benefit on the feeder roads. But let me give us the full picture of the province in terms of the trunk roads, because you need goods and services to move on the highways. We are a province that is, we have 1,000 kilometer border with Congo. So meaning there are a lot of trading points between Zambia and Congo, the mineral-rich Katanga. So this government, for the first time, is going to open up what is called Kasomeno Mwendo Toll Bridge. This is going to be the shortest route to Kasumbalesa, let me just say to Lubumbashi, from the port of Dar es Salaam. So this project, as we are speaking, is going on.
Okay.
You go to Mwense, a place called Chalwe, the contractor, because this is PPP, government has not spent any single way, but it has given the enabling environment to ensure that the contractor, the concessionaire, thrive with this project. Come next year, December 2026, the bridge will be open, connecting Luapula to Congo, because this is the second bridge apart from the Mwanawasa bridge. But now this is a bridge that is providing a route, shortest route from the port of Dar es Salaam to Lubumbashi. So we are literally positioning to share the value of business that is as Kasumbalesa. Perhaps we will get actually the biggest share. So there's a toll road, the contractor is moving at lightning speed under the supervision of RDA. So we also have the airport, because we are positioning ourselves to the robust economic expansion for the province. And we felt that for us to handle all this increased volume of trade, we need a bigger airport. Currently, we only have a smaller one that cannot allow commercial aircraft to land on that airport. We are actually now expanding that airport to a 4-kilometer runway, so it will be an international airport. Any aircraft of any magnitude can land in. Okay. As I speak to you, this road, this project is, I would say, almost 30%. The contractor is on the site. Mm-hmm. Then I was talking about last week, we were doing the what we call Cassava Musaira Road. This is another road that was forgotten.
Sorry, so on about 30%, are you sure by December the project will be done? Your projection?
No, it's not this December, I'm talking about next year.
2026.
2026, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So right now, as we are speaking, they are doing the bridge, they will be casting the columns, they are doing the road, and I think come November, they will start now the border post. When you go to Chalwe, you see this is a huge project. It's like mining.
But is it attainable by December next year?
Definitely, yes, because they're in a hurry to start getting the benefits. They're investing. Remember, this is PPP. They're pushing in money. It's like a mining activity. Go there, it's 24/7 they're working. They want to ensure that this project is actualized by.
Okay, let's quickly look at the energy sector, because we've got quite a number of issues that really need to
the energy sector, let me put it this way. Luapula was and is still the least in terms of energy supply, because first and foremost we depend on a 66 kV transmission line whose capacity is not adequate to support any industrial expansion, including mining. So as a result, this government has said we're going to do, number one, we're going to link this province to the rest of the country in terms of the high voltage 330 kV. So there's a plan now to move 330 kV from Pensuro parallel with the Tuta Road into Mansa, and then we can do lower transmission lines at 132 to different areas where this mining potential is. Beyond that, we have also said we have so much potential for hydro. And you know, in Luapula we are not, although the issues of climate change are real, but Luapula we are blessed because we are near the Congoren forest, so we have the normal rainfall. So like this month, it will rain until next year, April, May, thereabout. So our rain pattern is undisturbed. So we have water throughout the year. If you go to Lumangwe Falls, you'll see as if it's in the rain season. So we want to take advantage of the potential. And so discussions have been going on. ZESCO has done all the feasibility studies. They have done the EIS over the Kalungwish hydropower station. Okay. All we are waiting for just issues of making sure that government does solicit for funding, and the developers will be there. Okay, it's not only that one. We also have potential in the Luapula River. So we are also that can give us over 1,000 megawatts of power. So we are also seriously in discussion with the ZESCO, other partners, to ensure that we quickly move in and develop that. This government, because of what we've gone through over the past 1 year, due to the effects of the 2023-2024 drought, we have gone throughout the country to say we are going to put solar power plants. As I'm speaking to you, the Mavumba solar power plant in Mansa, which is 50 megawatts capacity, is above 60%. And we expect the contractors given us November that they'll be able to do the initial testing. So we believe that by end of December, Luapula alone is going to have 50 megawatts of solar power plant right there in Mavumba. I've visited this power plant recently. They are working day and night to ensure that we actualize that. Now, our energy requirement currently, because the mining has not yet been developed, we only need 30 megawatts of power as a country, as a province. So when we inject 50 megawatts of power into the national grid, it means Luapula will be self-sufficient. But remember, we are put into the national grid, so it means it will also service other parts of the country.
Not too long ago, the president visited your province, and I remember seeing you there on the project, thus the Green 2000 electricity project. Just bring us to speed. Where are we?
So the electrification programs across the province is an drive. The Rural Electrification Authority, ZESCO, are doing extremely well. So when we talk about the farming block itself, we said for us to attract more investors into the farming blocks, we need to open up the roads, we need to electrify them. I am happy to report that for the Luena farming block, we've done the full electrification. The instruction that was given by President Hakainde Hichilema was obeyed successfully. So the Luena farming block, including the Green 2000, which you've referred, are now on a 33 kV overhead supply line. Okay. They are enjoying energy. They have now moved from irrigation using diesel. They are on the national grid, and we have asked ZESCO, can we give them sufficient hours so that they can irrigate during the day?
You are given 30th June 2025 as a deadline. Did you beat that deadline?
Of course, we did not do it by that date. We were late by 2 weeks. Due to some technical challenges with the contractor, because this was not ZESCO, there was a third-party contractor who was doing the work on behalf of ZESCO. Okay. So we delayed by 2 weeks, but the good thing is that this project is, for us, is a Kwenyu. We have ticked it. We are, the province is, the farming block is on supply, and I visited the the Green 2000 you have referred to. They were very happy and are very grateful to President Hakainde Hichilema. The instruction that he left has been attended to by the provincial administration. So let me just say, this is an ongoing program. Electrification is an ongoing program, because I've been to the Rural Electrification Authority, given also my background, that Luapula province has received the biggest share in terms of rural electrification programs, and we are not leaving any district. So what has happened is that most of the backbone lines have been reticulated across the province. What is remaining is now to intensify the networks, to intensify meaning to make many more short lines to the community so that people can now access the power. Okay. And so there are deliberate programs under the rural electrification plan which RIA has rolled out across the country. And given the knowledge that I have, I've been always at their doorstep to ensure, can we give Luapula its biggest share? And so the World Bank has funded RIA, as I'm speaking to a tune of $200 million. It's an electrification program for rural areas. Again, I was just submitting the entire list of the need areas for Luapula province to ensure that we again benefit to ensure and bring access to electricity closer to our people in the villages.
Earlier on, you talked about the increase or enhanced CDF to a tune of 40 million kwacha. Members of Parliament, some happy, and they've received others. Let me just say, they've received this increment with mixed feelings. The biggest question is the burning rate to some constituency. Do you think it was necessary for the Minister of Finance and your government to increase CDF?
It was actually, I was thinking that it will go to 50 million. The reason is very simple. There are local authorities and the lawmakers who are not doing enough to ensure that they successfully consume the funding that is given each year. I'll give you an example. In my case, I was elected quite recently. You remember I came to Parliament in February this year. And when I went to the council, I found out that actually from 2022 they had not bought the yellow machines. Then I said, how are we going to do our feeder roads if we do not buy the yellow machines? I said, hold on, we're going to do fewer community projects. Can we buy the yellow machines? And this we agreed with my counterpart in Pambashi. As I speak to you, we have bought all the equipment. And we're just waiting for a final batch of funding from local government so that we can actually say we have fully spent our money this year. So the issue of enhancing the CDF to 40 million in 2026 cannot be downplayed. Only those enemies of development, because what this government has done is we said, look, there is no way the decision to do a bore in Luena or in Kaputa should be decided at the central government. We said we are going to devolve this function through the decentralization policy to ensure that people themselves in their locations can say, hey, this is our need area. Here we need water. Here we need electricity. Here we need health posts. Here we need a maternity annex. Here we need desks. So this is exactly what this government did. We have devolved this function. So the money has now moved from the center where there was corruption to the key people, because you know money is even during the past government, they were apportioned, but the money never used to go there. Now under this government, because we believe that we are one Zambia, one nation, Luapula province were privileged to serve as a member of parliament in Kawambo as well as a minister, did not support this government fully in terms of forming government. But today we receive the same share of development under the enhanced CDF. If you go to the Minister of Local Government, when they do a quarterly allocation, they send a similar figure across the 156 constituencies. It remains up to the local authorities and the member of parliament, because they are part of and parcel of the local authority. Even if they are not in by law part of it, they sit under the what we call the Constituency Development Fund Committee that decides on how the fund is going to be utilized in that particular financial year. So
the delayed release by central government, because I'm sure you still have arrears. in terms of the money that has been released so far? I know you can boast of receiving equal share at the same time, but again, the way the monies are released, some members of parliament are still complaining that you have quite a number of arrears that have not been paid up to now.
No, you know, take it from me. When we started the next CDF, we were funding upfront all the monies. Money stayed in the banks. They were not being used. I think that the banks started even making some interest. They were gaining. So we said, can we do an activity-based budget? So you actually spend, you claim. Now, even this allocation I was talking about, let me put it this way, the disbursement that comes quarterly. Beyond that quarterly disbursement, if you are a need constituents, you can still write to Ministry of Local Government to say, we have surpassed this budget. They will still fund you. I was talking about the yellow machine that we bought. They told me, because the allocation that we got for the last quarter was not sufficient for us to pay for the yellow machine. They told me, can we do the reconciliation so that we can give you money? So yes, there could be some constituencies that are not spending the monies, because this is not money meant to sit in the accounts. It's a money that is just a conduit through the local authority to the people. So grants must be paid on time, loans must be paid on time, bursaries, skills, all these, all councils across the country. Let be one council that should come and tell me that they have not paid this. It means they are not serious. Because our duty as parliamentarians, we interface with the ministries here in Lusaka. Our duty is to go to the Minister of Finance if the Minister of Local Government is not giving you money, to say we are behind. But this government has made it a point to ensure that where there are projects that are started and have been executed, we should not hold people for more than the necessary period under the contracts that they have signed. So yes, there could be isolated cases, but speaking for Lower Pula and speaking for my constituents, particularly Kawamba Central, there could be areas if they have not given the disbursement projection on time. Then secondly, because you have to account for how you have spent the last disbursement before you get. So you have to always attach your expenditure for the previous disbursement before you get another funding. Otherwise, money will sit in the accounts. So money is there. This government is serious. You know, I'm privileged to sit in cabinet, and it has been given as an instruction to local authority to ensure that we disperse all the 2025 allocation. All the 2025 by 31st December this year should be given to local authorities. So I'm not worried.
Are these projects in various constituencies in Lopla province value for the money? Looking at, I've toured quite a number of developmental projects that are taking place in various constituencies, but the project that we find leave much to be desired, Honorable Minister. And I'm sure you've inspected some of these projects. How do you feel when you see certain projects that are below standard? And even the pricing, again, it's another big issue that the Zambian people are complaining of.
Yeah, so speaking about the quality of projects, all local authorities do have an engineering department. So this department needs to have competent engineers. So the fiduciary responsibility, which includes procurement and the financial management, should be enhanced. Let me just say that. Procurement and disbursements are one, but there's also this financial management and then the engineering part. So the engineering part and the procurement are quite related, but we need to build capacity in some of the local authorities so that when it comes to quality on the projects, the engineering department should be able to go, because it's not the role of the MP, because some of the member of parliament, I'm an engineer myself, so when I go to check a project, I will be able to say this is not good. But some are from different fields, so they will just go and see a building and say this is okay. True to your word, some, I was inspecting I maintained annex recently in Kawambwa, in a place called Shikaraba, where I come from. And I saw that there were some substandard materials used. And I said, we cannot pay for this. Can we allow the contractor to redo it? So it depends on the competency in the engineering departments within those local authorities. And also other stakeholders like ourselves. We MPs are key stakeholders. And I want to urge my fellow members of parliament, at a time when we are on break, let's create time to go and see the quality of our projects. Are they being done within the time frame? Are they being done within the project cost, the value for money? Are they being done within the required quality? Because when these three aspects are met, then there will be value for money. Okay. But if one of these is compromised, then it means we have a problem somewhere within the local authority. So the World Bank has a project that is actually enhancing capacity in the local authority so that they are able to handle these three fundamentals, which is procurement, financial management, and engineering. Then these authorities will be better.
Okay. The number that we are using, if you wish to be part and parcel of today's presentation of the 2026 budget analysis, is 0978 772801. That's 0978 772801. My guest for today is Luapula Province Minister, and this is Honorable Engineer Nelson Musonda. He is a Member of Parliament for Kawambwa constituency, and we're just looking at Luapula Province as relating it to the national budget that the Minister of Finance announced not too long ago here at Parliament. You did talk about the road network that you want to enhance in your constituency, the energy sector as well. But again, there are other critical sectors that are found in your province. Let me just say all the ministries are found in your ministry. How are you going to prioritize projects that you want to enhance or improve, be it education, health, and infrastructure in Luapula Province?
Yeah, so let me just put it this way. All key portfolios of government, education, health, agriculture, livestock, fisheries, they have now been devolved to local authorities. So this is why I was saying that there is need to enhance capacity in the local authorities. It will be, local authorities will now be the biggest employer in each and every district, because all these functions of government are narrowing down to the local authority. So when you talk about education, through this enhanced CDF, I have no problem in my constituency, because we've built several classrooms. I can't just list them here. And for the desks, if you go to Kawambwa today, at a local authority, there is even a warehouse for the desks, because we over-procured. So when we hear that there is a shortage here, we just take. So there is a place called Canberra in my constituency. They don't have desks. I'm organizing transport because they need to have desks. So we've sorted out the issue of desks once and for all. There's no child who's sitting on the floor. When it comes to the health sector, we've made sure that maternity annexes in each and every ward, they are built, because that was an instruction. And in some wards, even more than two, because depending on the size of the ward. Health posts have been built indiscriminately. And let me also tell you that this is, when we build this, we are lobbying from government to ensure that we can put in sufficient human capital to ensure that when we build schools, the teacher-pupil ratio is within the allowable numbers. So we continue recruiting teachers under this government. As I speak to you, we have procured. We have hired not less than 40,000. Okay. You heard from the budget speech that for 2025 itself and next year, we'll be doing a total of 5,500 teachers and 5,500 nurses. So we are bring these services closer to our people, because when we have health workers, it means people will be attended in good time. And it's important for us to recruit, because we are building health posts, we are building maternity almost in each and every ward. So there are job opportunities needed. We need to.
How are you going to make sure that these pronouncements that the Minister of Finance made, because they intend to employ 2,000 teachers this year and 3,500 come next year in 2026, that the local people are employed? Because the biggest challenge that rural areas are facing is, once these people are employed, they want to go back to urban areas. And how are you addressing such challenges in your province as well, province, being a rural province?
Let me also say, including my constituents, I've said that for us to develop as a rural province, we need to take care of the people, because there are teachers in the rural areas who went to colleges, there are nurses who went to colleges, and they have the papers. They need to be given opportunities. And those are people who are perhaps grown up there, they are already used the rural environment. If they are given an opportunity, they will be able to work in those areas.
But if they're given an opportunity as well to fill the urban areas, they don't want to go back to rural areas. But again, and that's the biggest challenge, Honorable Minister, that you face.
Because each time we recruit, we look at, actually the biggest number now is going to rural areas, because in the urban areas the numbers of teachers are okay, health workers are okay. You know, recently there was what they were calling a replacement exercise. It was a small number. When I looked at the numbers, I was shocked that Kawamba was receiving one of the biggest numbers. When I looked at Mansa, because Mansa is a peri-urban, there were fewer than what we are getting in.
How many numbers are we talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about just 24 teachers for Kawamba alone. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because we will soon be going to the recruitment exercise. We will be pressing upon the relevant ministries. We do not do the recruitment ourselves, but we are local leaders who listen to the complaints coming from our people that we have been left. Preference has been given people from the towns. They come and take up the new spaces, and after a few months they want to be transferred and leave a vacuum there. So we said, can we give priority, or perhaps make sure that when we recruit, there is a clause in there, maybe police, to say once you are recruited in a rural area, the minimum period of time you need to serve before you can ask for a transfer is 10 years. Then they will stay there.
So the 4 years is not enough, because there is already a policy of 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years is not enough.
Okay.
And I've seen this in Mansa. Doctors, a number of them were recruited. 17 were asking to relocate to come to the Copper Belt urban areas. So we need to ensure that there is a enhanced policy in terms of making sure that when they are recruited, they are able to stay in those rural areas. So we will be pressing upon the relevant ministries, Minister of Education, Minister of Health, to ensure that their human resource departments, when they recruit people who are going, when they are sent, they will remain there for a considerable period of time before they are, unless maybe they are married and then they want to move. But that should also be in exceptional circumstances. It should not be like for each and everyone that they can get married at the same time and move. So we are going to look into that seriously. It's a very valid point.
All right, let's move on to job creation. I know it's the biggest challenge in Lopla province. If the people of Lopla province, teachers, nurses and doctors are not employed, it's a big challenge, because there are no industries. And when you look at the budget itself, in his budget speech, the minister did emphasize on the industrial development and job creation to stimulate economic growth in your province. But how are you going to leverage on these pronouncements that the minister talked about? Because we cannot just depend on Minister of Health, Minister of Education to employ the local people.
You are right. You are right. For us to create jobs, it's not about civil service, because we're talking about these 5,500 across the country. So our share for the province will be perhaps, maybe if we are like 500, that's even maybe too big. Maybe 300. So when we get that, that doesn't mean we're creating jobs for our local people. That is meant to take care of the people that we have sent to colleges, to observe them in their formal industry, which is teaching, health, but we are creating opportunities through industrialization. So we need to promote agriculture. Agriculture is a business. When you go to Green 2000, I'm giving an example. By the way, permit me to just zero in Kawambo alone, so that you hear what this statement means. We are seriously developing what will be the second biggest sugar company. It's called Kawambo Sugar. You've heard about that. Kawambo, as we speak, the soils where they are putting up this plantation, they are the best across the country, beats Mazabuka, in case you don't know. These are the studies which were done. So we are doing 4,100 hectares of sugarcane plantation in Kawambo right now, with the sugar production expected to be in the first quarter of 2027. Then we have the biggest avocado farm in Central Africa. You've heard about the avocado plantation. It's there in Kawambo by Nava Avocado. So this industry, or the avocados we are going to produce, they are not for local consumption. They're for export to the European market. And
how are you going to sustain all these huge projects that you are mentioning? Can you just give an example of the Kawambo tea? Huge projects, but it's got no impact.
Yeah, so Kawambo tea is different. I wanted to underscore the two projects that I've spoken about, the Kawambo sugar as well as the Nava avocado.
Okay.
And very soon we're going to have the biggest cassava plantation in the Rwanda farming block. Government is quoting an investor, and very soon they'll be there. But for the two alone, when they come to fruition, we're talking about 6,600 direct jobs. That is the job creation we're talking about in one district. So if we can do that across each and every district, or on a minimum, you do 2,000 per district, we are creating jobs. So we are doing that through agriculture. I'm trying to answer that. But also in the informal sectors. You know, the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise, they have built industry hubs in each and every province. In Luapula, if you come to Mansa, it's now fully functional. We're expanding because that's where we're doing a lot of manufacturing. If you go to confectionery, there's a huge base there. If you go to fingering production, there's huge base there. If you go to maize production and many other activities. So these are ultimately creating jobs in those sectors that may not be as same as teachers, and they will be able to, because in some cases the owners of those businesses are part and parcel of the value chain. So when they do that, they are bringing jobs, and we don't account for those jobs, and then we say there is no employment use because people want to come and be employed by government. That's not the policy of this government. We want to first promote agriculture, promote mining. You know that Luapula has copper, has gold, has manganese. They are huge depots, but these have not been exploited. We've not taken any serious mining activity. I would say there is no mining activity because what we have are artisanal people getting manganese and things like that. And even when they get the manganese, it's not processed there. It's transported to syringes. So you're exporting jobs. So what we have been, remember I said we are looking at now enhancing our electricity capacity to support mining. From this program, I'm going for the mining in Saka at Mulungushi, just next door here. These are issues we are bringing to the table to ensure that we create our local economy in Luapula. Luapula province should proud itself that we have all the natural resources. Why should we be called poor? It's poor because we have had poor leadership. Apparently, under President Hakainde Hichilema, we have got the solid leadership. I don't believe that I'm a poor leader myself.
But why haven't you changed the face, Honorable? I know you are just elected into office this year in February, and you keep talking about Luapula being one of the poorest province in our country. But your government has been in power for the past 4 years.
Yes, it's been in power for the past 4 years. We inherited a collapsed economy that you can attest to that. Meaning, we had no fiscal space to start injecting in certain things like such as infrastructure. Remember, you cannot talk about development if there's no infrastructure development. You need to open up these roads to attract investors to come. And an investor will not come and spend the money where there's no road. And an investor will not go and open a copper mine in Chieng when there's no Kashkishi Runchinda road gravel. So what this government has started is to first open up these areas. And an investor, have you ever been to Chieng? There is a 12-kilometer beach on Lake Bangweuru,
okay,
which is good for tourism, but there is no access. So this government is opening up, building airports in Luapula.
Okay, you conclude your line of thought. Let's just accommodate some few text messages that we've received on the number that I've been sharing with you. That's 0978-772801. But still, you can also go to our Facebook page, the National Assembly of Zambia, and our YouTube page. I'll be able to acknowledge your wherever you are sending those text messages. Let's see some of the text messages that you've received on the 2026 post-budget analysis program. And this one comes from Liketo. My question is, number one, the CDF increment, worth it even for councils that are failing to use the money when it is given to them. The second question is, an office of the MP is important in the community. What is your comment to the councils who have not followed presidential directive to construct constituents offices using CDF? What is the office situation in Kawambwa constituency? Thank you so much, Leketo from Lukulu there. Appreciate. We have water challenges in Luapula province. I'm sure those are people that are sending in text messages from your constituents, Honorable. I think those are the three text messages that we can accommodate. What is the position of Mansa Airport? Again, another question has come through there. You kept on talking about the airports that you are constructing as a New Dawn government. Maybe you can quickly conclude your line of thought when I talked about Luapula province being listed as one of the poorest provinces in our country. But again, the big question is, you've been in office for 4 years now, and I did disturb your line of thought. Maybe you can conclude and quickly react to those text messages that we received.
You know, I always say that development is not a marathon. I believe in agile principles. So these activities to do with development, they come in sprints. So you have to first find resources, inject it, get the results. Is it good? The people say yes. So what we're saying is that when we just got into government as UPND, number one, we were a debt-ridden country. Our fiscal space was almost zero. So we had no money to spend on infrastructure. We are already defaulting on paying the interest on the sovereign bond that this country obtained under the previous administration. So the president, our chief marketing officer, said, well, wait a minute. He gathered all of us and said, for us to get out of this, we have to renegotiate this debt so that we can get the fiscal space. During that time, there was literally nothing that we would do apart from attracting PPP projects. But trust me, it took us almost over a year. The real debt restructuring was achieved in 2023. And in 2024, we've seen projects being rolled out across the country, including Luapula itself. Now, what I mean is, we cannot come out of the poverty all of a sudden, because poverty means absence of social and economic services in our communities, meaning there is no school, there is no proper hospital, there are no proper road infrastructure, no water. So for us to do this, we need to have a resource envelope. And sometimes this resource envelope can be facilitated by government or the private sector. In the case of Luapula, the roads were impassable even today. But we have started. The Mansa Airport is talked about. There is a contract, paid advance payments, and the runway is under construction as I speak to you. just next to the existing airport. So that is being expanded into an international airport to take care of the increasing economic activities in the province. President Hakainde Hichilema has told me, Wamusonda, can you make Rwapura proud? Like the way you are giving me a challenge, make Rwapura proud. I've given you the mandate to ensure that you create a Rwapura economy. We had or contribute nothing to the national GDP. It's very insignificant, despite all these rich endowments that we have as a province. So we are saying, wait a minute, we give you the roads, we give you electricity. When you have electricity, then you will have an investor coming to do the mining.
Let's quickly look at other messages that our viewers and our listeners sent in. I want you to respond. There was one to do with the CDF. They are constructing an office there.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think there were about 2-3 more text messages.
I've answered to the issue of the Mansa. I think over that statement I was making just
the airport. Yes, that one is clarified.
But then there is an issue of constituents from Leketo. Leketo is talking about real issues in the typical rural constituents. In my constituents, there is no National Assembly building for the MP, which is a mandate we've been given, and so we've said, because we're doing things systematically, we said, can we first buy the yellow machines? We've spent almost all the monies to those. So the situation is that next year we are now turning to building the office of the Member of Parliament. But there is an approach. That office do not have the technical people to oversee what is being done in the local authorities. You know, there are 3 staff from there. Their assistant, their academic qualifications is not aligned to supervising local authority. No, I think he has a point. He was saying, what does the office of the MP do to oversee these problems in the councils? So we, as much as we are a stakeholder, we cannot or implement on behalf, or we cannot supervise or even monitor, because these are reforms that first must be done at Parliament here and the National Assembly. Can we enhance the role of the MP and the office of the MP in supervising the projects under CDF? It's a very valid point. So I hope that I've answered that question. There were 2, the issue of the office as well as the supervision. Yes, there's, in most councils, the capacity issue still remain a big problem. But we are hopeful that under this intervention, the World Bank program that is there for devolution is going to help us in one or the other.
Okay,
to ensure that we have the technical...
Yeah, we have about 2 or 3 minutes to wind up, Honorable Minister. There was a huge project that used to take place in your province, the Rwapura Expo, and this has just died a natural death. Is it because it was coming from the opposition? Before you respond, let's read a few text messages that we've received. To revamp all sectors of the economy in the province. That's Julius there, based in Rwapura, but he's saying the other text message reads, to stop selling big chunks of land to foreigners, but rent them to or putting them on lease. Let's see if we have another one. Honorable, kindly tell us when would these or those people are given artisanal licenses be able to start operating? Thank you so much. Okay, those are some of the few text messages. Maybe beginning with the Rwapura Expo, Honorable.
Yes, it's a very important question. Remember that under the previous administration, they did that to showcase our potential, this potential thing I'm talking about. So it was done under the previous administration. There were a few company that came to invest. I think that is where the concept of the Green 2000 came from. And I think the concept of developing the Zambia Resort Center to international standards so that we can have a resemblance of what we see in Savonga and Livingstone. And if you go to Zambia today, I think that there's a huge improvement in terms of showcasing the tourism potential around that base.
Okay.
But over time, there were no follow-ups. That expo was done more than 10 years. And what we've done as a provincial administration is that we have to revisit that, because times and seasons have passed. We've looked at those, and we cannot get those exhibitors that came then. Some of them, they have ceased in the operations, so we need to showcase in the similar manner. And I think it's the policy of this government. You were seeing Muchinga Expo just about 2 weeks ago. So the Lopla one is coming. It's a build up on that,
okay, so
that we can actually showcase. But true to what I'm telling you, out of that initiative, it opened up Lopla to the rest of the world to say we have this. Lopla has 1/3 of the water bodies right there. Lopla has the biggest wetlands right there. Lopla has rich soils right there. Lopla has lakes. Lopla has everything.
Okay.
But why can't we put in man there? So I was telling you now, an investor, the government has a duty to open up a place, first and foremost, before an investor. Number one, you cannot travel to Chienge as an investor when there is no road. So we are doing that so that in Chienge we can open up mining.
Okay, Honorable, quickly, let's respond to those text messages, because just under a minute, because we need to conclude.
Yeah.
I know you have an assignment at Mulungushi Conference Center there.
Yes. So, in that question, there was an issue to do with
large chunks of land being given
I
to
agree.
finance while
I
not
agree.
using it.
We are speaking to our traditional leadership. Last week, 2 weeks ago, the president called or interacted with the chiefs here in Lusaka. All of them. There were 250 chiefs that came, 252 chiefs that came. Part of the subject was for us to speak to our leaders to say that land is our biggest heritage.
Okay.
So we cannot sell the land indiscriminately. What about the children, our future generation, the generation that will come after us? What will they find if we sell everything? And I agree with also his notion that we can actually lease land, but much more so if we allow foreign investors to come and take our land, we can go into joint partnership so that there is a benefit on both sides. Because yes, we have land, and this land cannot be used if there is no investment. So the investor wants land, but the policy should be to say, can we go into joint partnership so that you have land, that is your capital, land is your capital, then they bring the other capital contribution, then we can develop the land.
Okay.
So I hope I've answered that.
Yes, you have, Honorable. I must say thank you so much for finding time and being with us. And just to look at your province, Lopla province, your concluding remarks under eminent Honorable Minister to the people of Lopla province and Kawambwa people that gave you this 5-year mandate. Is it the 2-year mandate?
It's less than 2 years, actually. It's 1 year, 6 months. For my people in Kawambwa, we are all being called upon to work hard. You know, when we rush to China, Chinese built their areas. So we have to apply ourselves. Government is there to support or to provide an enabling environment. But it's our work culture, our attitude, ourselves, that will develop those areas. So we have to work hard, because this government is seriously supporting the people of Kawambwa, is seriously supporting the people of Lopla province. We are a lucky province, because this President Hakainde Hichilema, I said, is more focused on making sure that we change the fortunes of the province, and it's evident from what we are receiving under the budget that was presented last week, 2 weeks ago. It's my desire that we continue with President Hakainde Hichilema beyond 2026, because some of these developmental programs that he has done, we cannot cut them, But trust me, if we, by any chance we change the government, it means they will go back to square one. We need to finish this program that have been started in Luapula. We need to finish the Mansai Airport. We need to finish those roads I've spoken about. Because previous governments attempted to do those, but they squandered the money. So we have a leadership that is focused on ensuring that Luapula thrives economically.
Honorable.
And contribute to the national GDP.
Honorable, thank you so much, and wishing you all the best as you continue serving the people of Luapula Province as their minister, and all the best.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, my guest for today has been Honorable Engineer Nelson Musonda, who is Minister of Luapula Province, and he is a Kawambwa Member of Parliament. We're just looking at how Luapula will benefit from the 253.1 billion kwacha that the Minister of Finance has projected to spend come 2026. And members of Parliament have been interacting with various stakeholders in various committees and looking at this projection of 253.1 million kwacha. And come next week on Monday, the expanded Planning and Budgeting Committee will start receiving submissions from these committee chairpersons, some of the recommendations that they've made after interacting with these various stakeholders. My name is Paulson Tindovi. My sign language interpreter has been Chola Kauman. Those of you that have been following us on our social media and indeed on our radio platform, we're saying thank you so much. We'll do this tomorrow, and thank you for your time.
Disaster. The World Championship leader is dead last.
It's always a very tough track to be consistent and keep it out of the walls.
And now Piastri's in the wall. What is going on?
Every race is an opportunity, and today we just weren't good enough. We had no issues. I would throw the pace that I've had all year, and we stick it on the podium.
The checkered flag is waiting for Max Verstappen, who wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
The 2025 Formula One season on your World of Champions, Supersport. Proudly brought to you by Heineken, more than a race, and Batika, home of champions.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on Supersport all season long. Reconnect to DSTV Compact and GoTV Super Plus today and get the best football on us.
Top picks on DSTV. It's pregnancy complications hidden